الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا وبعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم. Regarding ayat number 129 of Surat al-Baqarah, this ayah is a continuation of the dua of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. When they put up the qawa'id, when they put up the foundations of the Kaaba, the Baytullah, they were given particular ahkam to fulfill those ahkam. Doing tawaf, doing i'tikaf, making ruku, making sajda, salah. Then they made a very lengthy dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In that dua, part of that dua, they asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make from their progeny ummatan muslimah, the Muslim ummah, those that will accept Islam and be Muslim. And they also made a dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the greatest of all prophets and messengers, that He sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as a messenger to this ummah, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the main mission of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam easy for him by assisting him. And in that dua, they made the dua that, oh Allah, You send amongst them Rabbana wa ba'ath fihim, You send amongst them Rasulan, the greatest messenger, or a great messenger, minhum, from them, from amongst them, Yatlu alayhim ayatik, that He will recite Your ayat to them. We have already gone over the details of this tilawat of the Quran, which also incorporates the tahfidh and the memorization of the Quran. The next portion of their dua, that this Rasul, this great messenger, not only will he recite the ayat of the Quran to them, but more than that, وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. And this great messenger, يُعَلِّمُهُمْ, he will teach them Al-Kitab, the book, meaning the Quran, the Kitabullah. Wal-Hikmah, and will also teach them Al-Hikmah, which translates to the wisdom. In this actual sense, in essence, this Al-Hikmah, this wisdom, this is the Sunnah. This is the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because in reality that is what is real wisdom, what is true wisdom. Understanding the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and implementing that Sunnah in our lives, bringing that Sunnah in our life, that is the essence of hikmah and wisdom. Here in this dua, they made this dua that, oh Allah, this Rasul, yu'allimuhumul kitab. He will teach them al-kitab, this book, this great book. As insan, as human beings, we have expanded on this gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this intellect, wisdom, this intellect, this aql, this knowledge. And by expanding on this intellect and research and knowledge, they've achieved many great things. But there are many subjects and many topics that if we want to make progress in, first you have to learn and study that particular ilm, that particular branch of knowledge. You cannot just learn it by yourself. Some of these particular branches, these particular subjects that we may take in our lives, they are very difficult to learn, very difficult to understand. For that, effort is required, time is required, dedication is required. It is not something you can learn overnight or in 1 week or in 1 month, but it takes years and years just to master. And that is just the funun of this dunya, that is just the skills and skill set of these worldly material things. That is why we have the college system, university system. If we want to get to that level of expertise, great dedication is required, a matter of years, not something that can be studied in a few weeks or months. But great dedication is required if we want to be known as experts or we want to become experts. Part of that dedication is time is spent studying books. Time is spent studying and learning under experts. Time is spent preparing for examination, getting from one grade to another grade, one degree to another degree, one position to another position. And with all of that endeavor, then we become experts in our field. And we understand what real sacrifice is, what study is. Similarly, when you come to the field of deen, and you want to study the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are also many sciences and many subjects that are very, very difficult to understand and very difficult to learn. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was given a teacher. Jibreel alayhi salam was sent to teach Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam from the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would send out. And there's a very great lesson for all of us to understand that even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he had a teacher. عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَى ذُو مِرَّةٍ فَاسْتَوَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear that even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he had a teacher. He was taught by a being that was very, very powerful, Jibreel alayhi salam, and very trustworthy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he wanted, he could have given Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam open and clear understanding without the need of any median. But there's a very, very great lesson here for us to understand. Yes, there were portions of the Quran that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was given directly. But even those explanations were given to him and explained to him their meanings. The lesson for us to understand is that when it comes to learning and studying the Quran, the Kalam Allah, It is not something that we can learn on our own. Yes, there are many parts in the Quran that one can study by himself or by themselves. They may be able to gain great amounts of information. But information is not the only thing that is needed. Just like the many fields in this world, if you want to become an expert in, you have to go through great study. You take medicine, you take engineering, you take law, you take whatever other fields are out there. Yes, there are some side courses you can take to learn whatever little bit you can. Maybe read by yourself, you'll learn something. But you will never get to that level that the medical profession doctors go, or that position which the engineers get to, or whatever experts in their field will get to. So self-study to think you can learn the Quran by yourself, that this is something that is simple and easy. It is not something simple and easy. Many a times we confuse the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam with our own lack of understanding. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us very clearly, ad-deenu yusr. Ad-deen, this religion is easy. And many times we take this hadith and we run with it, that okay, everything in this religion is easy. We fail to understand the context around that hadith, what this hadith is truly talking about. And there are numerous other hadith and incidents that clarify this hadith. There were Bedouins on multiple occasions that came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and asked him about Islam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a very simple way explained Islam. Islam is very easy and simple to explain. Very easy and simple to understand as far as understanding is concerned. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained to that Bedouin, Islam has 5 pillars. There's the Shahada, Salah, Zakah, Sawm, and fasting, and Hajj. The Bedouin asked about other extra outside of the fara'id. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained to him the basics. You have the sunnah and you have the nawafil. You can do more fasting if you like. You can pray more salawat if you like. You can give sadaqah outside of the zakah. There are more rewards than that. And this Bedouin then made a promise that he would stick to this. He would not ask for anything more. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam praised the Bedouin for sticking to that. Something very simple, very easy to understand. So he makes it very clear that the deen of Islam, when it comes to practice and to understanding, the very basic tenets are very easy to understand, very easy to learn, and very easy to implement in our life. This is what is meant by the deen is easy. But there are many subjects that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam on occasion would not explain at that moment, or some Sahaba were given. Because of their understanding and the depth of understanding, they were given certain lessons that they were able to comprehend that the other Sahaba were not able to comprehend. And there were many, many ayat even amongst the Sahaba radiallahu anhum themselves, that they used to realize some Sahaba had a much deeper understanding of those ayat than other Sahaba. So he made it very clear that this Quran, it is an ocean of depth. But there are many, many things if you want to really study and understand what is the message of the Quran. It is not something that is very easy to learn. The deen is easy to practice, but if you want to come to the understanding of the depth of the Quran and you want to go deep, and there are numerous examples. During the time of the Khilafah of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu, he used to, in his council, he used to keep Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, and he always used to generally lean towards his advice. So some of the senior and elder Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, they came to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu, and they kind of told him that, we were there with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam through many different stages of his life. We are seniors, we are elders. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, being the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but he was very young. And a very young age, when he was very young, then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam left this world. There's not that much that Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma got to spend time or really studied and learned the way we did. He did not have that kind of experience. Also, we're much more senior than him in age, much more senior than him in experience. Why are you always leaning towards his mashwara? When he says something, you almost jump on the wagon, you almost get on his side, you almost jump the wagon, and you like to take his position. Generally, you accept his position. What is the reasoning behind this? So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he told those Sahaba that, do you believe that you know and understand deen better than this youngster, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma? Is that what you're claiming? They said, yes, we do have certain experience and knowledge, that obviously because of our age and the fact that we're more senior than him. So Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he called Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. He ordered him to court, and they brought him. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, when he came to Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he told him, come sit down. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he sat down, young, he was not very old, he was young. So Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he asked the senior Sahaba that you claim that you have more knowledge than him. So I ask you a very simple question. The surah, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. It's a very famous surah. Many have memorized this surah. It is amongst the last 10 surahs of the Quran, the 5th to last surah of the Quran. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. The translation is, when the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and victory from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. And you will see the people entering into the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in crowds, in groups, large groups. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ. Then do the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorify the praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seek His forgiveness. إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He accepts repentance and He accepts people's istighfar. So Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he asked the senior Sahaba, what does this surah mean? Explain this surah to me. A simple surah, we all know it. Just tell me, what is this surah? So the senior Sahaba radiallahu anhum amongst themselves said, it's very easy to understand. This surah was revealed before Fath Makkah. For those who are familiar with the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave victory to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam over Makkah. That period was called the Fath Makkah, the conquest of Makkah. So they told that the surah was revealed before Fath Makkah, and it was a prediction that Fath Makkah will now happen, and that people will enter into the fold of Islam, and the conditions will change, everything will become very good, very nice. And that is very simple. This is what the surah is talking about. The help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His victory being the Fath Makkah, very clear meaning. So Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, yes, I also agree with your explanation. Now he turned to Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. He said, listen, I want you to explain to us this surah now. What does this surah mean? We got the meaning that revealed before Fath Makkah, this is the Sabab al-Nuzul, and we understand this. Do you agree with this? So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, yes, you are right, but you're also missing a very important point. The senior Sahaba looked at one another. What could we possibly have missed? This is what the surah is talking about. So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said this surah, in essence, was actually a message to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that now your mission is coming to an end and very soon you're going to leave this world. And for those who understood this message, they got the message that very soon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is going to leave this world, he's going to pass away and go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Senior Sahaba were shocked. And they were surprised. They looked at one another that how can someone so young understand so deeply a message of a surah that we've understood totally different. Then Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he told those senior Sahaba that what happened after Fath Makkah? We had the Hajjatul Wida of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He came for Hajj, and in that Hajj the last few verses were revealed. The last portion of the Quran was revealed. And after that Hajj, hardly any revelation. There was only one revelation that came, and that was it. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he left this world, he passed away. He went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So very, very clear from this surah. Then Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he looked at the senior Sahaba radiallahu anhum and he said, you see, now you understand that whatever understanding you might have, this young man, he has much more understanding than us. We're more senior than him, but his depth of understanding. So the senior Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they were surprised. They said, can you tell us how you got this understanding that we did not get? Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said on a few occasions, I became the khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I was given a chance to do khidmah for him, to serve him. And the way I would sometimes serve him is I would go and bring water for him so that he could make his wudu. I would also, if the water was cold, I would make sure it was nice temperature. And I used to take care of some of the basic things. I did whatever from my side I could as khidmah, serving Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said on those few occasions when I did this service, taking care of the khidmah, serving Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he made very special dua for me. That, oh Allah, he made Allahumma allimhu al-Quran. That, oh Allah, you teach him, Allahumma allimhu al-kitab. Oh Allah, you teach him the book, your book. وَفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. And oh Allah, you give him understanding of your deen. There's a very, very famous dua that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made on multiple occasions for Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, I said, even though I was young in age, I started studying the Quran from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, during whatever time I could. And during this time, then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he passed away. So then I dedicated myself that even if I heard that there was a Sahabi who had one ayat of the Quran, so I would go and travel to that Sahabi. And if that Sahabi was sleeping or taking rest, I would wait outside their house and wait for them, sometimes for a very long time, until they would come out for salah or come for something, and they would see me waiting. They would ask me, why are you waiting here? And I would tell them that I heard that you have this one ayat of the Quran. I came just to learn from you this ayah. What does this ayat mean? How is it revealed? What do you know about this ayat that someone else doesn't know? So I started gathering the ilm of the ayat of the Quran, and some of the senior Sahaba that I used to go to, sometimes they would become a little upset that you are the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why did you wait for us? You should have woken us up. You should have come, instead of sitting outside waiting. And he said that I would tell them that this is against the adab, the etiquettes of learning. I'm a student, you are my teachers. So it's against the etiquette that I should come and bother you. But it's a good time that when you're ready, then I can learn from you. So he says, this is how I used to gather the ilm of the ayat of the Quran, that those who were given those ayat, or those Sahaba radiallahu anhum who were present in an occasion where those verses were revealed, that they had a deeper understanding of those verses than the other Sahabas. I used to go to them and study those verses from them. And maybe there was something in that occasion, something at that moment that others had missed. But this first person narration is something that is very, very important. They said I would go and I would study, and that's how for a long time I was able to study like this. So this is very, very important for us to understand that the ilm of kitab, the ilm of the Quran doesn't come easy. There's the ayat, the dua that the mashayikh make for the students. The students also have great adab, very great character and understanding. They have the qualities of the students. They understand what are the particular qualities required the students must have, and they study under those shuyukh. They also have great adab, respect, and understanding how and when to study. This is very, very important. So this ilm of the Quran, it comes with great efforts also. But even more important than just the ilm of learning that ilm, more important than just learning that ilm is also learning the system around that ilm. The ilm is not just the information itself. There's great adab, there's great respect required, there's great character required, great akhlaq required, great dedication required. So these things are very, very important. Also, the person has to really cut themselves off from the world around them. You know, they have a saying even when we were studying that you have to become like almost someone who has completely cut themselves off from the world and dedicate yourself. So it's not just the translation. Many times the translation doesn't even do justice. But you have to really, if you really want to study the Quran, it is very difficult, almost impossible to do it by yourself. But you have to have shuyukh, you have to go to the shuyukh, you have to study with them, dedicate yourself and study. Then yes, you will have that kind of ilm of the Quran that is required, or that which we are wishing for. But if somebody does it by themselves, that okay, Islam is easy, I can just read the translation, that's enough. No. The deen is easy as far as practice and understanding is concerned. But if you really want to understand the ulum of deen, then there's a reason why the ulama and the scholars are given such a great status. There's a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the greatest of all of the prophets, as that Nabi to be given this Quran. Because there's a very, very great message there. It's not something so easy you can just learn just like that. It requires dedication and hard work. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice the deen. Inshallah, we'll go into some of the ulum and the funun of the Quran, and then inshallah we'll discuss this as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. وعلى أهله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.